Hi, and welcome back to our week number 12 lab. So this week we were talking about seeds, and one of the most prominent seeds in just our normal consumption is grains. And grains are often heavily processed and used as cereals. If you remember that, cereals is kind of the overarching family name, and grains is a specific part of that. But they're processed and used in so many different goods, and one of the most popular ones is our snack foods. Say these goldfish here, Cheez-Its, Cheetos, pretty much any sort of chip or cracker you can think of is made from processed grains. And the reason that we do that, from an evolutionary perspective, is because grains, remember, are packed with tons and tons of starch. And starch is just sugar, long chains of sugars. And as we process it, those sugars become available, and we then when we eat them, not only are they a great taste because there's more of those free sugars. They're not necessarily sweet because they're still in starch form, but they taste better. But there are also tons of energy in those. If you've ever, pounded down a whole bag of Doritos, afterwards you probably didn't feel great, but you probably felt energized because you've got a lot of these carbohydrates, these sugars in there. So today for this lab, it's going to be a little more involved. We are actually going to see just how much energy is in one of these guys. So if you've ever looked at the back of a package or listened to some dietitian tell you about calories, that's what we're going to explore today. So the idea behind a calorie is a simple one. It's just, hey, how much energy is there actually packed into these things? And so the reason people tell you to watch calories a lot is because the sugar, the energy that's in here, is most readily converted into fat. And so if you're watching your figure, obviously consuming less things that have less potential to become fat is better. So we're going to look at how they actually do this, kind of a scaled down version, but this is how it works nonetheless. So we're going to create what is called a calorimeter, right? Like calorie meter, calorimeter. All right? So this is how it's going to go. We've got a few steps here, but follow along. So the first thing, so essentially how we're going to do this is we're going to burn this, and all of the energy that it releases as it burns, we're going to trap it in water, and we're going to see the temperature, how the temperature of water goes up. So the first thing we need in order to burn this is a safe containment facility to burn it in. So if you look down here, we've got a metal bowl. I have just a little bit of water in there because if you get uncomfortable with how things are going, then you can just kind of shake your bowl, knock this over, and it'll get put out right away. Good countermeasure. So the next thing, we need a stand for this to sit in because if it's in this water, then obviously it's not going to light so much. So here's what we're going to use. The thing I've found works best is a cork. If you don't have access to one of these, there will be several that I'll make and provide at the CAC campus. But here's how this goes down if you want to do this yourself, because it's not hard. We're just going to take a cork, take a paper clip, and you're going to unfold that paper clip all the way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pierce the cork. Now just go for the corner here. Okay, if you try from the bottom, it's going to be really hard to work your way up there. But if you try from the corner, you can usually pierce it up through there, not too bad. Now you want about an inch kind of poking out of the top, and then you're going to just take the rest of this and wrap it around the base there so you have a nice sturdy stand. The next thing we need to do is corks. While they're not super flammable, they do have a tendency to burn, and while yes, this is going to be in a bowl with water, if the cork starts burning, the cork is going to actually add energy to the water, and that's not what we want. We only want to take that energy from the food that we're using. So you're just going to take a little piece of aluminum foil, doesn't have to be heavy duty or anything, and crimp it around the top there. That is going to help conduct the heat and keep your cork from burning. So we have our stand ready to go. And now what you're going to do, you are going to choose any sort of snack grain. Goldfish, Cheez-It, Cheetos work great. Just plain potato chips are fine, but they're really hard to skewer on here. Okay, because our process of skewering is we want our food as upright as possible. Okay, so with goldfish, these work perfect. You can just kind of skewer this onto the back end, hopefully not compromising it too much structurally, and there you go. So, we're going to take this, we're going to put it right there, smack dab, in the center of our bowl. All right? So the next thing we need, right, we're going to light this on fire, and we're going to use it to heat water. Well, how are we going to put water on top of there? Here's the ingenious part. All right? So what you are going to do is you are actually going to take the oven rack out of your oven, and you are going to place it right smack dab on top of your bowl. All right? This is essentially just going to act as a landing platform for the containment unit that we are going to use, which in this case is simply going to be a soda can. All right? So we're going to put that soda can more or less right on top of where our food is. If it's not perfectly on top, that's totally fine. Okay? But we're going to do that in just a second because first you need to put water in this. How much? We are going to go with, let's see, where is it? Half a cup. All right? So just half a cup, whatever measuring cups you use. If they're not turtles, that's okay. And pour it straight into our soda can. Try not to spill as much as possible. It's important we know how much is in there. Okay? So, we're going to put that right on top there. Now, the final thing we have to do is simply light our food stuff. For this, I would recommend, if you want to wait to put the soda can on there, if you have kind of maybe an older lighter and it's going to be harder to light it, that's fine. The best ones are those long stick lighters that have the long neck. Matches don't work super good because they don't put out a lot of heat in a short amount of time, and we need that to get the food going because these things burn well, but it takes a while to get going. All right, so if you're using one of those stick lighters, that's the best. Hand lighter's hard to get down in there, but if you have to, you can light it and then put your grate on and put your can on real fast. As for me, this is my tool of choice. So, before that, almost forgot, important step. It's at this point that you are going to add your thermometer. Which I don't know where mine ran off to, but you're going to put your thermometer, just set it right down in there, right in the little opening there, okay? And this is your first point of data. You are going to let it sit there for maybe a minute and actually read the temperature of your water. It does not matter what temperature your water starts at. If it's a little cool or a little warm, that's fine. Just whatever temperature it's at right now, you need to record that. Write it down, okay? I made a little spreadsheet that'll be on the classroom website, and you're just going to go in and put that under starting temperature of the water, okay? The spreadsheet's set up so that it'll do all the calculations for you. You don't even need to worry about it. Okay? So you're going to record the starting temperature of the water, and then you're going to heat it up. So So I'm just going to move my can real quick, and I'm going to torch this thing until it starts burning on its own. Yeah, you're probably going to want to heat it a little bit. Take the flame away, heat it, take the flame away until it really starts to burn on its own. There we go. Now, it does look really black, and you might think, oh, well, it's already burned most of the way. No way. Grains have so much energy in them that this thing is going to burn and burn and burn and put off a lot of heat. Now, the reason that this works and the reason we have to use water is water has a known specific heat. Now, specific heat is simply the idea of how much energy can this substance absorb before it changes temperature. Okay, so when it comes to water, we know water's specific heat. It's 4.18 joules per grams degrees Celsius. So what that means is This water just heated up an amount that's proportional to how much energy it absorbed. Okay, if that sounds way too sciencey for you, the idea here is that since we know how much is in there, and we know how much the temperature is going to change based on how much energy we put in, then we will know how much energy was put in there. And if we know how much energy was put in there, we can figure out how much energy was in our snack. So if you look at this guy now, he is charred to a crisp. Okay, all of the grain in there, all of the calories were just converted to heat energy and transferred to our water. Ooh, it's warm. Okay, it's at this point you are going to read the temperature for your water again. All right, it'll probably have gone up by a few degrees. And then, and please try to be as exact as possible, okay? If you can estimate, say, 31.2 degrees, that would be awesome, okay? The more specific you can be, the better, all right? And you're going to go ahead and put that in the spreadsheet as well. The other thing that we need to know so that you can compare this effectively is you're going to look on your nutrition label, and your nutrition label will always have a serving size. Now, the other thing that's always on that serving size is the serving size in grams. You can see that right there, 30 grams for our goldfish. All right, so you are going to put that into the spreadsheet as well. With that, it will calculate, based on your experiment, how many calories were in this food. So the final thing you're going to look on here is simply how many calories, 140 for these goldfish, are in one serving. All right? So, most snack foods are about 1 gram for each of these, and so I've set it up so it will calculate, based on your experiment, how many calories would be in a serving of your favorite snack. And then we can look at how our experiment compares to our actual values, see how close they are. So that is your lab for this week. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to comment or email myself or Miss Celaya, and we'll get back to you. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you later. Bye.